Question 1. Tell me a bit about a graduate capability you have developed through FOSS 300, and how this is important to the practice of your discipline. One of Macquarie's graduate capabilities is the problem-solving and research capability. Macquarie defines this as the ability to research through analyzing, interpreting, and assessing data and information in its various forms, drawing connections across fields of knowledge, and relating one's knowledge to complex situations at work or in the world in order to diagnose and solve problems. And to also have the confidence and initiative to do so while being aware of one's own limitations. So, how have I developed this through FOSS 300? Well, luckily, my PACE activity is entirely research-based. I am specifically required to solve problems in order to research. Part of the activity involves analyzing and assessing rat behavior and interpreting that into numerical data. Another part involves rat dissections, which I won't show here. This involves drawing from my human anatomy knowledge and being able to apply that to a completely different species, so that while definitely different, I can successfully identify and then harvest the spleen and other such beautiful organs. Yet, all rats are inevitably different, so while I do take the initiative to dissect an adrenal gland that is slightly out of place, and have the confidence that it probably is the adrenal gland, I have to be mindful that my knowledge of rat anatomy is somewhat limited, and be confident enough to ask for verification when I'm not sure if it's the adrenal gland or kidney I'm about to remove. So how is this capability important to the practice of my discipline? Well, my discipline is medical science. Somewhat speaks for itself, but I'll clarify. Like other scientific disciplines, medical science aims to nurture one's passion for lifelong learning, but specifically in areas of human health. Being able to research effectively is integral to this. You need to be able to analyze and interpret information to learn. Furthermore, medical science is all about problem solving, whether it's figuring out the properties of a chemical compound, solving a physics equation, or diagnosing a patient. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty important. Question 2. Tell me about a time you made a mistake during your degree, and how you responded to this. A couple of years ago, I was heading to a final exam. I had studied super hard, and it was for a subject I actually found pretty interesting. So yeah, I was feeling pretty pumped. Then I got to the exam room, and no one else was there. It was definitely the right room, so maybe I was just early. But I looked at the time, and there definitely should have been other people here by now. I visualized my calendar at home, and then it hit me. How did I respond? Well, initially, panic. After a little while, I calmed down enough to gather my thoughts. I asked myself, okay, what can you do? Either I could accept it and just repeat the entire unit next year, or I could tell someone. So I sucked it up and re-enrolled in that subject for next year. Only kidding. I did the only thing I could think of and contacted my professor. With tears hitting my keyboard, I attempted to explain my situation over email, hoping that maybe, just maybe, I could sit the supplementary. But without a sick note, I didn't get that option. Luckily though, because I had done pretty well in previous assignments for the unit, the convener said she could average my mark to cover the remaining 50%. While I had been hoping to raise my mark in the exam, this felt like a pretty good compromise, and I was very grateful. My response to this event now is to frame it as a pretty valuable learning experience. Perhaps for exams, I was more focused on learning all the content than actually making sure I got the date right. So now I always double check. And I know that if I do have an issue, the best course of action isn't just to be quiet and suck it up somehow. People are inherently open to helping, and while reaching out may be embarrassing and terrifying, it's only your loss if you don't try.